Math 122. Week number for the right before the Thanksgiving holiday. You know the three things. Week number 6 homework on scientific notation. Week number 7 I'll talk about real quick, and test number 2. Any questions about what I'm asking for you? You let me know. Let's check out this quick rundown of week number 7 homework. The idea of a Fermi problem is you're going to make an estimate, and I really need to emphasize that phrase right there is absolute key. Estimate the answer. There are no perfect answers to any of the questions in the sheet. All I want to do is see that you're making educated guesses. So if I'm asking you about restaurant servers in San Francisco, there's going to be a lot of estimates. There's no way you can count everything perfectly in all the restaurants because it's a big city. All I'm looking for is for you to think about it, educated guesses. So if I'm talking restaurants in San Francisco, run down through a couple options. Well, 10, San Francisco is a big city. Even if you've never been there, 10 just doesn't seem right for a big old city. 100, just keep going up the ladder until you get something that starts to say, well, that's kind of reasonable. 100, that's still, San Francisco is a big old city. 100 restaurants, that's, you know, shoot, there might just be 100 McDonald's in there, let alone all the other stuff you got going on. 1,000, I don't know, maybe that's reasonable. I mean, 1,000 is a lot of restaurants, even for a big city. 10,000, now you're starting to get real big. I'm going to let you make the decision. Remember, it's an estimate. There's no right answer. One student says 1,000, the other says 10, so someone says 5,000 right in the middle. There are a lot of different possible answers. It's all about making an educated guess. For the sake of just getting this video done, I'm going to go with 100 right now. Like I said, you might have different numbers, and that's fine. And I'll be completely honest with you, 100 is too little. 100 is going to be too little for something like San Francisco. I'm doing it for the sake of argument. How many servers does a restaurant need on average? Now, that the word average is really important because, you know, like some mom and pop restaurants might just be mom and dad working the place. And you might have a big old banquet hall that's got 25 people. So there's going to be lots of variance in those numbers. But I'll go back to those words up the front. Estimate, estimate, estimate. So 5. I don't know, maybe. But, like, what about those big ones? Might have more. Maybe 10. Maybe 20. Average. Pick something in the middle. For the sake of argument, in this case, I'm going to go with 10. And once again, maybe if you work in the restaurant industry or are familiar with it, maybe you'll have more ideas about it. But let's start with those numbers. And then the last thing is put it together. I got those two numbers. I put them together. I say, so in total, if I multiply them together, I would say they're about, I would estimate, really lean on that word, I would estimate there's about 1,000 restaurant servers in San Francisco. Once again, I'll tell you straight away, 100 is far too little for the restaurants in the city. So your real answer should be much bigger than this. But this is the process I'm looking for. I didn't do a Google search. I haven't been to San Francisco in years, so who knows those type of things. It's all about an estimate. And you might have one answer, the next student might be something different, but a lot of times people say, oh my goodness, what is the right answer? I got to emphasize more than I can. There is no right answer. It's all about making educated guesses. The last part of the problem says, what's your most uncertain assumption? So now I'm asking you to look back on your numbers and say, well, I'm not sure about, so I'm not sure about, what would you know? In this case, like I said, I haven't been to San Francisco in ages. And people talk about, .com boom, there are lots of restaurants out there, and, you know, Silicon Valley, all this type of thing. So maybe I'm not sure about the restaurants in San Francisco, but don't just say that. Say, I'm not sure about restaurants in San Francisco because, and you fill in the blanks. I'm asking for you to do very basic math, estimates, and then ask you to reflect on it. Tell me what you're not sure about. So there's about 4 problems like that where I'm asking you to break it down and make some guesses. And like I said, embrace that fact that there's no right answer. Just kind of go with it. Say, I'll try this. And then the next thing is you have to break. I'm giving you at the very end of the homework, I'm giving you some questions. I'm asking you to break them down into pieces. So one of them was the soda in a restaurant, eggs in a restaurant, slices of cheese in a Subway sandwich. Let me just focus on part B for this little video here. Like I said, you have 4 of them that you're going to need to tackle. So if I'm needing to estimate this problem, I'm going to look for little parts of the problem that kind of look like things I can estimate. I can estimate about eggs in a restaurant. I can estimate the restaurants in Chicago, like I did with San Francisco. And a week, I know that's actually not an estimate. I know there's 7 days a week, but let's tackle them one at a time. And I'm going to start with this one because it's sort of the biggest number. That should probably the biggest group that I got to estimate. So restaurants in Chicago, remember what we did before? We said, oh, 10, no, it's too small, 100, too small, and you kept going up the ladder. I'm just going to pick this number out, 500. Not saying this is the answer. Maybe you're thinking 1,000, maybe someone said, well, shoot, 10,000. There's a lot of restaurants in Chicago. I'll let you pick. That's the part of it. You're going to make your estimates. Next up, Okay, I got all the restaurants. Now look in specifically in each restaurant. How many eggs do you think they use? Remember this game? 10? Nah, that's too little. I can eat 10 eggs in a week. 100? Well, that's still a lot. But, you know, we got 100 people coming to the restaurant. Maybe 1,000, maybe 10,000. I don't know. I'll let you pick. For the sake of the argument, I'm just going to go with 100 here. Maybe you have better analysis, better estimates, so I'll let you figure out. And then a week, well, come on, that's easy. That's not even an estimate. So I got all these numbers. I put them together, and I get that number. Don't just leave it like that. You need to tie it all together to me. How? Just give me a sentence like that. That word estimate's key. I estimate about 350,000 eggs used in Chicago restaurants in a week. And I think it's also good to say, well, but I'm not sure about the eggs in the restaurant because some are like breakfast place, probably serve a ton of eggs. And others might be, might not a burger place probably wouldn't use so many eggs. I'll let you figure out those type of analysis, okay? But you see the mix. There's very little math. A lot of it is just pulling these numbers out. Okay? This is the idea of a Fermi problem, which is a fancy way to say, hey, you're going to make some estimates. See if you can apply these methods to the week number 7 homework and get that submitted. Week number 6 homework, scientific notation. Week number 7 homework, these Fermi problems, and test number 2, that's up on Blackboard. Any questions, please let me know, and we can get that stuff done and enjoy the Thanksgiving break.